Solar sail production is underway, particle container production soon to follow, and it seems we owe our first extraterrestrial outpost a production checkup. Hello, Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. Things are moving along at quite a satisfactory rate, I must say, but one thing that I would like to address before I go anywhere else, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, we are very close to being able to build, or at least begin building, particle containers. So, I also mentioned that just a moment ago, come to think of it, but we need copper over next to some of our other resources. So particle containers specifically, before we go to Alpha Andromedae 4, we can get these set up. They require, again, there's a special recipe for these too, once you get a certain resource that you can bring in from off-world. It's a little bit more obscure, and there are specific places you need to go to get it, but you can get it. So for now, we need these electromagnetic turbines, we need copper, and we need graphene. Now, 2 of those are already over here. It's the copper that I need to bring in from earlier points in the production chain. So I think, let's see if we can do this properly. I think this will work. I'm going to... Okay, I need to bring you 1 closer, and then please let me... Okay, it's not going to. Of course not. Because why would you do anything that considerate? All right, well, in this case, what we'll do, just so we have a little bit of symmetry here, I'm going to delete that. And now we're going to bring the line up this direction. And we will have to bring it through, let's see. I want to navigate it somewhat. Tell you what, let's bring it back here, then bring it over. It'll automatically lift because of that ingenious addition that they've made, which I love. We're going to bring it all the way back here. And then through. And we'll pause for just a moment while we consider where everything's going to be. So this copper is going to come this direction. Now, I don't think I need to have any space between this storage and the production spot for these resources. I should be fine. So let's go ahead and set up the sorters that will draw this in, and then very straightforwardly perfect. So this just brings the copper straight down, and now we have a production chain set up for another very important resource. And let's just make sure that we have these powered. I'll put a Tesla tower right there. We could eventually expand this line, and frankly, we probably, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it right now. Let's just go ahead and do it right now, because it's going to be worth it. It looks like a fresh shipment of turbines did just arrive, which is nice, but that's not going to last long. Hello? Did I not just shift-click twice? Oh. I must have clicked too close. There we go. Okay. Now, we're producing those. I don't have any storage set up for these, so let's maybe go ahead and arrange that at the very least. I'm going to bring it all the way over here, so there's a little bit of space. Starting to get a pretty intense setup for our main base, because it's really spread out over a lot of the planet. Now, if you look in the bottom left, you can see the extent to which, you know, we're kind of spread across the surface. You see all the yellow indicating where buildings are. So I'm going to let that build up for a while, which is going to consume a fair amount of resources. It looks like power-wise we're okay. We're more than okay, actually, and that's quite nice. But one of the reasons... All right, so there are two major kind of shortages that we need to deal with. The first is with the electromagnetic turbines, and that we need to visit Alpha Andromedae for. The other appears to be with sulfuric acid, and that has to do with a shortage of fuel. Now, it does seem like it might be improving somewhat. Yeah, it is improving somewhat. It seems like this is filling up again. So maybe the sulfuric acid problem has solved itself. Let's make sure that all of these are producing adequately. These are not. So this is part of the issue. We appear to have had another slowdown in our oil. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the problem. So even before I leave, here's what we're going to do. How many extractors do I have? None on me right now, so let's fix that. We're going to build a couple of fresh oil extractors. I will need stone, and I will need circuit boards. So let's get some stone brick. And let's get some circuit boards, which I do not have any at the moment. But that is easily resolved. And now... So there is, of course, a limited amount of oil that we can really harvest on this planet, and we're starting to feel that pain a little bit. Yeah, these seeps have slowed down to the point that we need to bring in more. They solved our problem at one point in the past, but they do not solve the problem anymore. So what we will do, thankfully, I think there is room for an additional sorter to be added to the mix. So what I'll do is just... I'm going to put this sorter right here. What do you mean collide with other object? No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? There you go. That was odd. We're going to have you kind of come down here. And of course, we'll need to connect both of these to the grid, which that should be close enough. Maybe. Maybe not. It is. Okay, so now both of those are producing, and we'll have them join the output of that first one by coming down here, running along this line, and coming down here, and just popping into this sorter. I am honestly surprised. It might just be because of the series format, because I'm multitasking. I'm doing some recording commentary while playing, so I'm progressing a little bit more slowly than I'm accustomed to. But I'm surprised that we have a second oil shortage that quickly. That caught me off guard. But this will help. It might not fix the problem completely, but it will at least help, because one of the seeps that I just started is honestly not a very good one. But that is a huge increase right there in the amount of oil being output. So I want to follow this for a moment and make sure that this completely fills back up. I think the other reason we have a shortage isn't necessarily that the seeps slowed down very much. It's that I built additional refineries and didn't really check at any point whether or not I had enough oil to support as many refineries as I was building. So that's on me. That's how these things go. So we can see, this is the oil coming in from the line. What I need to see is that it's backing up. What I really would need to see, good, is that it's backing up here. This is what I want to see. It's not as difficult for it to back up along this line, because that's a shorter line. So now we have all of the refineries completely running. And as a result, our power situation is actually not as amazing as it was, but it does look like we are still in a state of surplus, which is great. So, with that being fixed, we can now turn our attention to Alpha Andromedae 4. Because I think that will begin to resolve some of the issues with that production chain that have not been perfectly healthy for the past little while. All right, so these require what I do not have. Electromagnetic turbines, which are being produced on Alpha Andromedae 4. And we need to go grab those. Let's see if I can offload some resources real quick. Just to have some extra space. Totally can. Literally just selecting every building and hitting tab to see if I have the opportunity to load anything in here, which in some cases I do. Yeah, I can load in graphene to some of these buildings. Graphene there, and now we have a lot more space. So now I can grab some additional hydrogen fuel cells. We'll have deuterium fuel cells before very long at all. That'll be nice. Let's grab a few extra. And now, that's honestly more than I needed. Hang on. Put those back away. And it's off to Alpha Andromedae 4 we go. Now, the nice thing about having hopefully resolved that problematic production chain, there she is. The nice thing about having resolved that chain is that our research speed has been kind of hit or miss for the last couple of episodes. We should, while we're here addressing the issue with the electromagnetic turbines, we should be able to kind of see some actual research progress happening. It might be slower, and it has been even slower than we've been accustomed to over the past couple of episodes. Now that we're really producing those yellow cubes at a regular rate, which are complex resources, they require complex resources to make them. So it's complexity upon complexity. We're entering that stage of Dyson Sphere Program. But I think it's going to be a little bit faster than it has been in the past. And one of the nice things about the research that we are completing right now, the one that's up next, is that it will give us the ability to stack additional storages and additional research labs on top of each other. So that can't come soon enough. But for now, what I would really like to do is figure out what is running dry on Alpha Andromedae 4 so that we're not producing more of these turbines. It could just be that I need to up production. There might not actually be a shortage in the sense that something is malfunctioning. It might just be that we are at capacity on Alpha Andromedae 4. So one thing that I can do in order to check that remotely, somebody asked about this in the comments a few days ago, and it's a good question. It's like, hey, why don't you use this more to figure out what's going on? First of all, from a content creation perspective, I think visually it's more exciting to actually go around looking at the problems rather than just looking at the stats all the time. But I do use this. This is really useful information, whether I'm playing for content or just playing for myself. I tend to use it later, though, when I need to look at things that are far away, that take time to travel to, when it just makes more sense to quickly glance at the numbers and assess the health of a particular output. So I will be using those stats more, but let's take a look at what we're short on here. Did it say insufficient power there? No, power-wise we're fine. All right, so we are mainly missing these, which these have been the culprit the entire time, to be completely honest. And it seems like we are producing more than enough of everything else. The input resources are all in good shape. Trying to think of the best way to do this. I think I see what I can do. Okay. Yeah, I don't love this a whole lot, but we're going to make it happen. So Let me delete you, delete you, delete you. There'll be a momentary interruption here. I'm going to bring you farther back. I'm going to go all the way around just to maximize the space I have here. There we go. All right, so now your production can continue, but I can also do a couple of things here. Yeah, hold on. I can do even more than that. There are a couple of solutions involved in this. All right, so we're going to delete you just momentarily. We're going to copy you and then have you be here. Yep. We're going to have to delete a few of these, in fact. That's fine. I'm just going to delete, delete, delete. Unfortunately, hang on. Let's go ahead and build those copies. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. All right, so all of those are powered again, but I can build a couple more now because of the way I've spaced these. So it's just a matter of making sure I have the room for them. And I do. So these, though, are going to be positioned a little bit differently. Can I build any more? Oh, yes, I can. Perfect. I just happen to have the resources in my inventory to build a few more of these. So I'm going to... No, let's... I want you to remove this order previous, please. Thank you. All right, so we can really increase the production on these, and I may be able to add an additional building producing electromagnetic turbines too, and that could be very useful. But it doesn't look like... Okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able... Holy crap, words, Hadrian. It does not look like I'm going to be able to build another one here unless I move these, which I can do, I think. Let's try it. If I can do it, then I'll do it. I can do it. Perfect. I can do it. All right, so... Yep, just going to wholesale delete these. I'm going to temporarily delete you. There we go. I'm going to delete that. Now, this is slightly haphazard, what I'm doing right now. Oh, wait. Wrong way. Because it could still result in production issues down the line. And this is one of the issues in... Well, it's not an issue. It's just an aspect of Dyson Sphere gameplay that is, in a lot of ways, just part of the fun. Because you put things together in a way that you think solves a particular production issue, and then you realize, actually, no, the issue is not as resolved as you might imagine. All right, let's see if we can... Yes, we can. Perfect. So there's a couple different ways you go about addressing that complexity of like solving one problem, creating another, really trying to figure out like what the best solutions are. And what it comes down to is you just keep trying different solutions, or you use like a calculator of some kind to really science out exactly. And you can if you want to. It's up to the individual player, you know? But you're really trying to science out exactly what is necessary to accomplish whatever goal you have. Hang on, this is going to take a little bit of doing. Yep, I was worried about that. And at least with this being my very first series in DSP, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to go the full calculator route. It's not what I typically do anyway, because I enjoy the struggle. I enjoy, like, figuring out what I'm trying to figure out. That's just very satisfying to me, so... Okay, well that solves that problem. The lines were honestly configured in a way that was no longer effective. Okay, and now I need an input line from here. Where are you outputting? You are not outputting right now. Where should you be outputting? Oh, okay. I see the issue. All right, so right now we have one of these that's not outputting because the other two are producing fast enough to supply the chain. So what I'm hoping for here... Right, now you're saying you don't have enough metal. Why is that? Oh, because you're not drawing any metal. I'm glad I double-checked all these. Let's take a look at all of them. So this is good. We're seeing some that are just completely full. Now, why are you saying you don't have... Oh, yeah, that's completely wrong. Okay, so now that that's actually pulling those in, that might solve that problem a little bit of these being backed up. The real question is, will I now be able to produce these at a more reasonable rate? And we'll have to kind of see how it balances out in a moment. But for now, let's see. Yeah, we've got a ton extra here. Do I not have these outputting yet? No, I don't. Okay. There we go. I was wondering why it wasn't seeming to pick up speed, and it's just because I hadn't connected some of the new ones that I just built. That was quite an extensive renovation, especially to be doing while talking about gameplay concepts. By the way, we did finish our upgrade a moment ago. Honestly, I did not even catch it. I did not even catch it. All right, so what I'm going to do now is get some additional storages building. It does seem like we might be a little bit behind on our silicon production here, and that could pose a problem unless I expand it now, so let's expand it now. Let's just deal with that. There we go. 8. That's what I wanted, that magical 8. Alright, and then to line this up, I'm going to bring it out a little bit so it reaches that longitude line that's actually lined up. Okay, and we can take a look at... Yeah, this is like completely useless at the moment. We might have more reason for that later on, but for now... Alright, so we're starting to see silicon back up again, which is what I wanted. I didn't see an icon there that indicated that storage was staying empty and not filling up, which is bad. So let me go ahead, since I no longer need to be producing solar plants en masse. Let's see how this is doing. Yeah, this storage is slowly filling up. I'm going to delete... or put those solar plants there as well. And I want this to completely fill up. Somebody did point out that I did this the old school way rather than putting it on top of a storage. And I'm actually putting it on top of a splitter. And I'm okay with that at the moment. The reason I'm okay with it is that I'm not going to be sending these anywhere. I'm not. So this is just an endpoint. I did do it the old school way. I'm a creature of habit. You're right. But it's not the end of the world. Those are not really going anywhere. It's not a complex production chain. It's just a box to hold those when I need to go grab a bunch of solar panels. And I don't need those, at least at this point in the game, while everything is so close together in terms of travel. Again, this is a Let's Play. Visuals matter. And for me anyway, the experience of traveling in the universe and seeing the different planets, seeing the different stars as we solve these logistical issues is part of the spectacle and part of the fun when I'm playing for myself. And it's also part of the experience because of that I'm trying to share through the series. So That's one of the reasons that I say I'm not gunning for like perfect efficiency, and I'm not trying to do everything just so. That's why I'm not staring too closely at the numbers and the statistics, because I don't want to miss out on the experience while I'm staring at this screen the whole time. You know? It's kind of, at this stage in the game, it's counterintuitive at points. So I'm taking a quick look. Ooh, okay, so it looks like we are starting to have some iron shortages here, but the newer mines might be compensating for it. So you can see how many of a given resource is, like, how much of a particular resource is sitting underneath. How many nodes, yes, you can see that. But you can also see how much of the resource in total is still sitting in the veins that the mine has access to. This has access to 142,000. This has access to 148,000. So I'm okay with that for now. We'll just need to keep an eye on it. And now that we've been letting it sit for a moment, let's take a look at how our production of electromagnetic turbines is doing. So the resources required to build them are now backing up, which is good news. What that tells me is that I might be able to get away with expanding this line. So these require two things that are already running by on these lines. So let's go ahead and just have one more. If I do this properly, I can just copy paste it like so. And it does seem like I need to... Tell you what, I'm going to do this just to space it properly. I'm going to delete this in a few seconds. There we go. We might eventually have another one there, but for now, I'm not confident that I'm producing enough of these to get away with that. But now we should start seeing a few more of those getting transported. Oh, that's good news. So we already have 681 in storage, while 400 are being transported. That's fantastic. I do have some additional logistics vessels here, so I'm going to go ahead and plug 2 in so that they can transfer some additional things. And I might be able... Holy crap. I just looked at the recording timer. I'm completely absorbed right now, having a good time. I didn't realize how much time had passed. So we did also... I want to be good at noticing these, because we've gotten wrapped up as things have been getting more complex and missed the arrival of some technologies, which is one of the reasons I got particle colliders going at the beginning of this episode and started working on it last time. But we have unlocked now the ability to make carbon nanotubes, which are a very important resource combining, check that out, graphene and titanium. Think of already like all the things that we've had to plug graphene into. Oh yeah, we still need more. So finding that fire ice is going to become more and more important. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks at the moment. It does look like we might be a little bit too slow. Let's take a look here. I could potentially, not on this planet, I don't think. Let's look. Yeah, there's not very much coal here. So proliferators are kind of out of the question here. It might be best for me to go ahead and delete that new guy. As much as I like the idea, I don't want to have something that's not producing at maximum efficiency. So I'm happy with what we've done to solve the shortage. And that might be mostly balanced out now. Let's take a look here and see. We might not need you running all the time, because it seems like you're backed up pretty consistently. So I could keep it there as a stopgap, or I could delete it. I mean, it's not running, so it's not really hurting me either way. Tell you what, before we end the episode, let's head back to Alpha Andromedae 2 and take care of something very, very important and exciting. I almost hit the caps lock key because I was ready to warp. I was like, wait, I don't have warp yet. Damn it. It's just pure habit. I'm doing it. We're going to make a close pass by the star because we can. Traveling quickly enough, it's going to take a chunk out of our speed, but I'm going to save my battery as I pass. We're going to pass, let's pass under it. That makes the most sense from a trajectory standpoint. We still haven't visited Alpha Andromedae 3 at all. It's a lonely planet. We've been going back and forth. We're at 16 hours now for the playthrough. And it's like, will you come see me at some point, please? Do I matter to you at all? You do, just not very much. We'll get to a point where that planet matters more, but we're not at that point right now. See? Barely even slowed us down because we were going fast enough to escape it. I love this game. These planets have been keeping me pretty busy in terms of going back and forth and making sure the efficiency of everything is running smoothly, but there really is a lot of joy in Dyson Sphere Program in just exploring the sites and seeing the different worlds and stars when you arrive. Seeing a sunrise, the sunrise of a red supergiant over a closely orbiting planet is something, let me tell you. It's one of my favorite things. So it looks like we are starting to produce small amounts of these resources again, so we are finally in better shape. Energy-wise, it looks like we're good too. Yeah, this is phenomenal. So we're really backed up here again. Let's go ahead and do one thing that we've been looking forward to doing for quite a while. All of our research just got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. 4, 5, 6. Am I miscounting these? The yellow is distracting me. How tall are they right now? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I thought so. So they're 9 tall at the moment. That seems like an odd number. They start 3 tall, though, so that makes sense. So that's a pretty good increase. And there we have it. We have just unlocked the ability to build deuterium cells. Deuteron fuel rods, to be precise. And they require ingredients which we already have. In small quantities, but we have them. That's what matters. So let's take a look at how these are coming along. We've got a decent number of these so far. Let's also glance very quickly at how many of our electromagnetic turbines we have. We still don't have a backstock of these, but I think we're building towards it, slowly but surely. I would like to have some additional transport ships placed sooner than later, because I think it's just time to have a full complement of 10 transport ships on both planets. But I think we're in a really good place now with some of the shortages that we had just an episode or 2 ago, and we can continue to look forward now that we have to pick new technologies at the beginning of the next episode. I'm very intentionally going to click a few things here on the screen. I haven't done this in a few episodes. I'm using new recording software now because one of the reasons, just to talk about something technical really quick as I finish up, one of the main reasons that I have made the switch to OBS for recording, and I'm messing around in this episode, next episode, the ones before it, the ones after it for a bit with like the best settings. One of the reasons I've made that switch is that I noticed in some episodes of Dyson Sphere Program, unbeknownst to me during the recording and uploading, and even for days afterward, no one pointed it out to me. I just noticed it myself. That some of these research options were making very loud pops. So hopefully that didn't just happen just now, but I'm doing that so I can check. A little bit of technical work right at the end of the episode here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at noon US Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.